This is how I've gone from being rejected twice by TEDx to finally getting accepted and conquering the red dot. If you're a speaker who want to apply for a TEDx spot, or you're just curious about what goes on behind the scenes, this is the video for you. So doing a TED Talk has been a bucket list of mine. Back in 2016, I took a shot in the blind and applied for TEDx Seattle. I didn't know what I was doing, and my application was bad. It was as bad as this chair, which has been destroyed by my cats clearly. You see, at that time, I didn't have a clearly defined message. I think in the application, I talked about the 3 lessons I learned from being a professional magician, how to create the impossible. It was too vague of an idea, so I got rejected. I didn't even get an interview. But you see, this is lesson number 1 I've learned from this journey. If you have a vision, if you have a goal, it is much better to shoot your shot 1 year too early than 1 year too late. Because if you shoot and you miss, no big deal. You know where you stand, you know what you need to work on. So when you are ready, opportunities will present themselves. So I've been speaking professionally since 2019, and at the end of 2022, I got an email out of nowhere from TEDx at the University of Washington. Apparently, somebody has seen me speak before and they recommended me to the group. This time, I got an interview, and I thought I'm golden because this time I have a clearly defined topic. I know that the best knowledge I have is my volunteer experience on the crisis line. I know I can teach others how to give better emotional support. So during the interview, I was on fire. I was sharing with the committee tip after tip, ideas after ideas, meaningful content after meaningful content on how to give better emotional support. I thought I was doing great, but in reality, I gave them way too much information. I was trying to cram all 5 teaching points from my 50 minutes keynote into a 14 to 18 minutes TED Talk. So I convoluted the idea and I got rejected again. But this time, I know that I need the help of a professional to help me craft a TED Talk. So lesson number 2 along this journey, know when you need help, because sometimes your help can come from a very unexpected source. So I met my friend Brian 15 years ago when we were both magicians doing magic shows in the college market, which technically made us competitors, but here is lesson number 3. Your competitors are not your enemies. Never burn bridges. Because 15 years later, Brian is now a world-renowned TEDx coach who has helped dozens of people from literally all over the world get on the red dot and just crush it. So I hired him, and he opened up my eyes to a whole new world full of inner TEDx secrets that the general public simply don't know. He shared with me stuff like how to craft the best application, how to weave your story into the application, when to apply, what TEDx to apply to, and all the mistakes that you have got to avoid if you want to get accepted. Now, I recommend checking out these 2 free resources from Brian. The first one is his interview with Tamsin Webster, who was the executive director for TEDx Cambridge. They tell you why most TEDx applications are rejected. It's a valuable resource. The second one is an article where he tells you how to craft a talk that actually inspires action. That is his framework for how to craft a TEDx talk. But if I have to share with you 5 simple tips that can help you, well, here they are. First one, less is more. Try to limit your talk's key actionable takeaways to 1 to 2 items only. Anything more than that, you might risk convoluting your talk. Second tip. Stories connect. When you do a TED Talk, you're not doing a lecture. Try to think of a story that really connects with the audience, that really connects with your main idea and main takeaway so you can skillfully weave it in the talk. Third tip. Plan way ahead. You see, when I got nominated the second time, it was December 2022. The interview took place in January 2023. I had less than 3 weeks to prepare for the interview. I didn't have a talk yet, so well, no wonder I didn't get accepted. But if you can plan ahead, maybe a year ahead, when you have the talk already crafted, then you can simply apply to different TEDx's. It will help a lot. Fourth tip. Respect the word counts in the application. If they ask you to describe your talk in under 200 words, it absolutely cannot be 201 words. TED Talks are extremely strict on the length of your talk. So if you show that you can't even respect that in the application, it sends a red flag. And the fifth and final tip is to find a TEDx talk where you have a personal connection with that city. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so it's very difficult for me to get accepted to like TEDx Vermont, it'd be ridiculous. However, TEDx Seattle, TEDx Portland, Spokane, those ones where I have a personal connection with the city, those ones are gonna be easier to get accepted. So those are my 5 tips on how to craft a better application. But if you truly are serious about getting on a TEDx stage, well, I do recommend you find a reputable TEDx coach because honestly, there's just so much information that the general public do not know about. I highly recommend it. So after all the hard work stemming all the way back to 2016, I finally got the happiest email I have written in my life. I got accepted. And if you wonder what happens between the moment you get accepted to the day of your talk, well, come along with me.